This is Marc Sims, just asking a few questions, just a few questions. I have Marcia Logan on the line from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hi, Marcia.
Happy New Year, Mark.
You know, it's already the 13th of the month. I ain't lost a pound. And the goal is to lose, 30 pounds every year. That's the goal.
We've lost 13 days.
Yeah, okay. We're going to do a whole show on losing weight. But today we're going to talk about crime and violence in Philadelphia and in Chicago. You are in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right?
13 days, 14 murders. Yes, that's where I am. That's Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah. Philadelphia. Well, I'm in Chicago, and Chicago is much maligned about the crime here in Chicago. But they had an article, the Philadelphia Inquirer. It was all over social media. The Philadelphia Inquirer had an article, and the article said something like, important lessons for Philadelphia from Chicago.
Yeah, teach us.
Yeah, right. It says a 3-year decline in Chicago crime violence, and they give all kind of.
Safe there now, huh?
I know. Yeah, right. It's a good article. I'm going to ask you about Philadelphia. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Chicago, and I'm going to ask you about the crime and violence in Philadelphia. I believe that a lot of the crime has gone down for a lot of different reasons. One, the black population is decreasing left and right in this town. We're not coming from the south anymore to the north, and over the past 50 years since the end of the second great migration from the south, the black population is declining and will continue to decline. Less poor people in Chicago, less poor black people, less crime. Sounds nasty, but that's the truth. Also, we had a crime spike a few years ago because when a police officer killed Laquan McDonald, a young black man, killed him in the streets of Chicago, there was a lot of protests. The police backed off and the crime spiked. Okay, that was a few years ago, and now the crime has gone down, the protests have gone down. It's a lot of different reasons, but I think that a lot of it is because of depopulation of the city of Chicago, of black people leaving the city of Chicago. Why is the crime going up in Philadelphia?
Well,
Marcia Logan.
Have nowhere to live. They're angry, and they don't have anything to do. They come out of school. They have no direction, no purpose. They're just headlines for people. No one's actually actively doing anything except making social media posts. And that's it. These children have nothing to do. They have no purpose to their lives, no community that surrounds them and embraces them and gives them a direction or things to do. There might be little pockets of things. People have all of their individual 501c3 organizations going on, and mine is better than yours, and yours is better than mine, as opposed to coming together and working together and having a focus. Everybody's got all kinds of businesses that are addressing little snippets of the problem, and nobody's coming together and working together. We have a mayor who didn't even have respect enough for us to have a town meeting, even though we knew he was going to win. You should have at least given us the semblance of respect, the semblance of care. And he's doing the same thing. He's, just pontificating and doing nothing. Just like he ran his first time on reducing stop and frisk. He had one meeting and never had a second, and nothing happened with that. Now he's saying some other great things that people want to hear, which I'm sure will have the same resolution that stop and frisk had. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. It doesn't affect his community, and pretty much that's Philadelphia. Philadelphia, somebody described to me as Philadelphia is a bunch of small country towns masquerading as a big city. We have too much division, derision. Nobody cares about what happens across the street, down the street, around the corner. As long as it doesn't affect my block, I'm good. And then, unfortunately, you can't have any progress in a city that is a whole bunch of separated people who don't give a darn about their neighbors and who don't give a darn about if their neighbors live or if their neighbors' kids live, just as long as their kids live. And that's just the bottom line of Philly. Nobody cares.
Philadelphia sounds like the city of Chicago. Sounds like home here. Now, Mayor, his name is Jim Kenney, right? Jim Kenney. So you're saying the mayor of Philadelphia, Jim Kenney? I don't know who he is. I somewhat met Mayor Nutter years ago. So the crime was
Irishman. Eddie was a cop. Typical.
Oh, that's Jim Kenney. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice, a good Irish mayor. We got that. We've had a few of those here in Chicago. But Mayor Nutter didn't solve the crime problem, did he?
No, man, none didn't care about the crime problem. As long as his daughter got to school on time at Masterman, one of the best schools in the city, he didn't care about it. He didn't
Oh,
care about schools.
wait. What's the name of the school again?
Masterman.
Oh, that was a good school. So as long as his daughter went to a good school, it's all good, right?
That's it.
All right. Now I say that because there's a lot of 501c3s here. Same in Philadelphia, all over. It's a lot of charity and very.
And all it is charity ball participation. It's something for them to do. It gives them a title. It gives them some sense of importance. I'm better than you because of XYZ, and I do this and I do that, and what do you do? And when you go to them with a real need, well, how much money can you bring? I thought you were 501c3. You know, it's such a game. It's ridiculous.
I know.
And then they get mad. They don't get support from the others. It's just a political game.
I know they're playing game. The 501c3s is a lot of charity and very little change. But I say that because when I read the article about Chicago and Philadelphia, the crime problems here is supposed to be getting better here and worse there. But the thing about it is that I never hear the thing I'm passionate about, the thing I'm so myopic about, is how are I'm talking about black boys. I'm not doing the Latino thing or poor white folks. I'm just talking about black folks, because that's who I know, because I live in segregated Chicago. How are the black boys doing in school? Where are the programs to make sure that the black boys can read, love reading, and we're going to prepare them for the jobs of the future, whether the jobs of the future are plumbing or any other trade or writing code or working with AI? Where are the plans for the young black boys?
You know what the problem is? Especially, this is going to hurt some people's feelings. Unfortunately, for people who are viewed as low on the totem pole, when they make babies, they're just a function of a physical act. You know, most people, if you have sense and you want to promote your legacies, you have children with a plan, or when the children get here, you start a plan. You pretty much it's just, I got these babies, and that's about it. I'm going to dress them cute and make them twerk and do everything else that I think I can make some money off them, and then that's it. We don't think in terms of the community. Everybody says it takes a community to raise or it takes a village to raise a community. That's a cute phrase, but they don't want to do the work. You know, so when the child gets here, do you ever look at that child and see a future? No, you look at that child and see somebody to babysit your other kids, or see somebody to get a check for, or whatever. And I know that sounds awful, but that's the way they act. Because when you sit there and say, okay, what are you raising? Are you raising a doctor? Are you raising a this? Are you raising a that? People get upset. They act like asking them to have a purpose is some kind of, curse. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to think about it. They just want to have these children, and when they get 18, kick them out the house. No. You have to have a plan for your community to prosper. And now you've had this child. Daddy's left. You're mad at the child because he looks like dad. You take out your anger on that child, and you expect the child, to be successful? No, he's angry and bitter and feeling pointless and worthless. And so he goes outside and does something that he's not supposed to do. He meets with other people who feel the same way, and they're aimlessly living their lives. And when you aimlessly live your life in a city that has all kinds of opportunity for crime and no opportunity for success, the possibility that you're going to venture towards crime is great. And so they're sitting out here fighting over streets and territories that none of them own. And they're killing each other over nothing and over nonsense, and nobody cares until it's their Pookie. As long as it's somebody else's Pookie, nobody cares. Nobody's going to do anything, because, I'm mad at you because you didn't come to my charity ball, or you didn't participate in my fundraiser, or you didn't this, or you didn't that, as opposed to living for a higher purpose that everybody claims they do but only seems to do on Sunday when they get dressed up and go inside these buildings. Because when they come back out, they seem to forget that the purpose is supposed to continue, not just them prayers. All people will do will pray for each other. They won't get up and pounce for each other, but they'll pray all day long.
Okay, you sound like you're blaming the victim. You know that. These
Am I blaming them?
Oh, yeah, wait. Some people, your critics will say this because you
But
don't.
who's the victim?
Yeah.
Who is the victim? The person who decided to lay down and have this baby and then don't give it any kind of purpose when it comes here? So who's the victim? You, because you decided to have a baby and didn't think maybe I should have some kind of plan, or maybe I should come up with some kind of plan. Are you the victim? You the victim who can part your legs but can't part your brain and then come up with an idea to do with this child? Okay. I don't know. Who's the victim here? Tell me.
All right.
Because I'm confused.
We got less than 5 minutes on this podcast. Now, Marcia Logan, if you were the mayor of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and not Mayor Jim Kenney, what would you do to stop the crime in Philadelphia?
I'd develop I'd go into the community, number one, and stop sitting on his high horse in City Hall, okay, with his dictates, telling people what he's going to do with these fake numbers of what he calls success, because he's going to lower this.
Forget Jim Kenney. What are you going to do? You're the mayor now. You're the mayor.
I'm going to go into the community, because guess what? I don't know. I'm going to go into the community and talk to Pookie's uncle in every neighborhood, get them to get together and say, what do we do? What do we do? Do you need more money for, because remember, we've got money. It's just not being spent on anything except nonsense. Take that money from the mummers who want to go downtown in blackface. Take the money that the city's spending on them and put it into the communities.
Okay, I know, but wait. Do you think, because when you're poor, when you paycheck to paycheck, you're not thinking about sending your child to college or to trade school. You're just trying to get through the day.
Know why they paycheck to paycheck? Because they ain't got nowhere to live. We got too many abandoned houses in these neighborhoods. You get some of them poor paycheck to paycheck people. You teach them the skill. You give them a house. You bond with Habitat for Humanity and some of these other schools like a young build or whatever it's called. It's a second chance school where these kids have failed out of high school. They go back. I think it's called Young Build or Youth Build.
That's in Philly. Okay.
They teach them how to build houses. You partner with these. We have the resources. They're just not being utilized.
So you think the resources? Should go more direct
programs that the school district offers, that these young men can get into and learn trades, learn how to become an electrician. You get some of these people. You say, look, we got a row of houses here that need to be gutted and rebuilt. And if you come in, like they do with Habitat Humanity, and you spend how many hours, this will become your home at the end of this project. You can live here. But when you live here, you have to ensure that, become town watch or do something. You have to give them something that makes them feel a part of this community. You have to build, some kind of... food. You have to grow food. You have to do something that's going to improve this community. And you have to ensure that you are going to be out, doing town watches or whatever, or what do you call them, people that walk around with the head?
I know. But let me end this podcast. I got to do a part 2. Let me just do a part 2. Let me end the podcast right now.
The problem is too complex. It really is. It's more than just poverty. It's more, because guess what? People down south are poor, and they got guns, and they're not shooting everybody up. But you know what else? They also pretty much have homes. They have cars. They're not bunched together like in sardines in these row homes. What is it about the South? They're just as poor as we are.
I know. Now, urban density is a problem. I get it.
Yes.
We can talk about...
And then you got to look at the mindset of the people. People down south, okay, yeah, they go to church every day, but it's more than just something to do. It's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Let me end this. You sound like a person that's ready to leave Philadelphia and move down south. I've already done that.
I think you're ready to do it again. Let me end the podcast. I got to do a part 2. We're gonna refocus and do a part 2, and we're gonna solve all the problems in part 2. You know that.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Oh, yeah, we are.
That means Kenny won't be on the phone.
We should get Mayor Kenney on the phone now.
Well, people are blaming our DA because they say he's too soft.
I know.
So criminals really are sitting here saying, let's go to...
We have the same problem here. We have the same problem here. You have a tough on crime crowd, but no one really talks about public education and public education and public education.
Well, we have 50% of our black males failing out before 11th grade. That's a problem. You got a bunch of people on the street that have no direction, no skills, and no connection to anybody.
All right, Marcy, let me cut this off. We can talk for everybody. We can do a part 2 in a second, okay?